Now let me go here to the pen and let guide you what is the flow and how it is going to work, where you will create the file and where you will call, what will be the steps. So suppose you are as a user, you are going to open a website that is developed in React. So what will be the internal structure? This is a user. This is a user. User came to the browser. 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 Browser. After coming to the browser, user is going to open a website. That website is developed using the React. User is going to open a website. That website is developed using the React as a front end and some other language as a backend. Now, if it is developed using the React, how it is going to work? That internal flow we need to understand. The data flow inside the data flow inside the React application. This user will come here and this user interaction will happen to browser using the, it may be user can send the input, it may be user can see the output, both. So when user come to your application, this application is assumed using the React. Now what will happen inside? We'll go there and we'll have a look. Next, after that, inside the React project, you have a public folder inside. This is called public folder. You can look into your folder. There is a file called public. Public folder have a file called index.html. Have a file called index.html. Index.html. This index.html is going to get the data from next file and it is going to receive the data from next file. That file name is called index.js. Index.js. You can check in your folder. There will be a file called index.js. But this index.js, where it is, that is also matter. This index.js is available under the src folder. Let me come, then we'll write the src folder where it is. Next, after that, we have a file called app.js. This app.js is another label where your data is. Now see, under the app.js, some content was written that is coming as an output. This is called as an input and this will become as an output. According to need, we have to take the input from user. Now under this is your default structure. Here is the node modules we have. This is the node modules we have. Node modules, that is a complete list of all the library that is inside your React to develop the application. You can say node modules, node underscore modules, node modules. So library, complete library for your React node modules. So node modules and then public folder, index and then JS. So node module is a separate folder, public is a separate folder, remaining assume like is a SRC folder. Remaining assume as a SRC folder. These all are a SRC folder. Now till here, what the output, what compilation happen, and okay, hold on, let me write npm start. Okay, so till here, the existing code, what is that? That is till here. The node modules can be accessed by any of your component inside the project. The node module is able to access by any of the component inside the project. Any module can access the node modules. Okay, that just I have given the direction to the SRC folder. In SRC, it can be index, it can be app, it can be any other component. Whichever the components are there, all the components have right to access the library from the node modules. Those are under the SRC folder. Right, all are going to access that feature easily. Next, after that, if you are going to create your own pages, if you are going to write your own functionality, then where to write and how to write. Okay, how to write, we are going to study where to write. So in the React folder, SRC folder especially, it is not necessary we have to create the folder and then we can write. And it is not necessary without folder also we can write. Okay, so we can create a folder called customer, we can create a folder called vendor, we can create a folder different, and in each folder we can store the file and we can see that. Okay, now here we are going to understand the basic structure without folder, directly file creation and calling and saying. Under the React, whichever the files we are going to create, all your file will be as a .js. Under the React, whichever the files we are going to create, all the file will be .js. And suppose in your project there is a 20 pages, you can create the one page also and 20 function you can write and use it, or you can create the separate function, separate file, in one file one function, in one file one function also you can write. Okay, let me go in the very simple way. Suppose in our React project we have a file called product file, product page. We have a page called customer page, right? Assume we have a page called login page. We have a page called register page. We have a page called dashboard, and many more pages are there, suppose. So this become assume called product.js. Assume this become a maybe vendor.js. Okay, this may become a login.js. Billing.js. This maybe belong to dashboard.js. Right? So suppose in your project now multiple pages you have. These all the pages, whichever the pages we have, how you are going to interlink and how you are going to see that and how you are going to run that. Okay. So let's see here. The product.js file, we can link to the index also directly. Billing, login, dashboard, all we can link to the index.js file directly. It will work. But systematically, what user do, what developer do, they will not call to the index file directly because index is in the touch with the public folder. So there will be multi-labels should be there so that directly user cannot come to the our page. User should not be in the touch with the logical file. Okay. So what you will do, you will call your product.js file under the app. You will call your vendor.js file under the app. Okay. You can call your billing.js file under the app. You can call your billing login also under the app. You can call your dashboard also under the app. See, I call all the pages under the application, under the app.js file. Product also coming to the app, vendor is also coming to the app, billing is also coming to the app, plus dashboard is also coming to the app. Indirectly, all the file where it is coming, all the files are coming to the app.js file only. Okay. And then app was already dealing with the index is already dealing with the public folder, and public folder is in the touch with the browser, user is doing the interaction. This can be one structure. Other structure also can be product, vendor, dashboard, billing, login, can keep in one folder, and that folder you link with the app.js file. That all the files also anyway you have to link it, instead of storing different places, you can store all in one folder and then you have to link to the app. So at last you must have to link to the app, then only it will come to the browser and reflect in the browser. Now suppose from here next level, if you want to understand like React, how it will communicate with the backend, how it can send the data, how it can receive the data, then for that, suppose this is the backend server. There is the backend server. In the backend server, backend developer will write the web service. Web service. Now this web service will have to interlink with our component. So our component can deal with the API. Billing can deal with the API. Your login can deal with the API. Your vendor can deal with the API. Product will also come from the API. In fact, app is in the touch with the API. Right? Next, at this place you can write what is a web service. Web service already have written. It can be using your Java, Python, PHP, or any other technology. Again, there will be another set of technology that is called a database. Database. Now here at this place, web service code will be there, API code will be there here. SQL or no SQL, whichever is, that we need to write it. And after writing that, the backend can send the data to, we can send the data like this, and we can retrieve the data like this. And this concept becomes a complete API call. Okay, got some basic idea. Now, based on this formula, we will be creating some component. We will link to the app file and we'll see how it is going to work.
Sir, in normal HTML, like we are writing PHP backend code inside that .html file, but in React.js, that backend code file will be
The
completely different.
backend will be complete separate. We have to make as a API for that. Backend code will become as a API code. There we have to write the SQL query, and then we have to retrieve the data. We have to send the data to front end, or we have to receive from the front end, and we have to allow their cross origin so that the client can deal with the backend and backend can deal with the client. Under the React directly, you cannot write the SQL query. SQL query will be complete separate. It's called a API call. Okay. You will not mix both in one place. Both will be in different place. And through the fetch method, we have to send the data and we have to receive the data. Your SQL will send the return the data in the form of JSON to the React. React will again send the data in the form of JSON. JSON parsing will happen both the side. After doing the JSON parsing, React will also get the data after JSON parsing. If the React is sending to the backend, backend will also get the data after JSON parsing. But when the data is between backend to frontend, it will be as a JSON, encrypted JSON, like you can say the API call, where maybe we can send or maybe we can receive. But both the code will be different place, not together. In HTML, PHP, we write together. Here we cannot write together.
API call, you mean that Fetch API, REST API, those type of things, right?
Both, yes. Fetch API, REST API, using username, password, without username, password, both depend on requirement. Okay, so PHP code, if you have idea, it's easy only, not difficult. I will give you some many I have examples of PHP code API. Simple, you can write the code, take the data from backend, convert into JSON and print there. JSON decode and print there. It will come as a response to the front end. Something like this. I have one URL also here. Suppose this URL, this is one PHP URL. Okay, this API. This is a API only that I cover with the React for all the batches. Okay, you can see this is coming from our server. Now in that data is, you can see it's a mass mix up of the data. It is like complete, you can say data inside data, array inside array. It's a nested array, nested label array. So we need to read this kind of data. So this is the PHP URL. It gives directly as a JSON data. The JSON data will be given to React. React will convert into array, and then React can run the loop and display the output. Okay, so this is called JSON API, not JSON API, PHP API. This way you need to create and you need to give to the React, and in React using fetch method you can call, and after that you can use throughout the project anywhere.
So the backend developer will give us that link, right?
Backend developer will give you the link. They will guide you like what input and what output, what you need to send and what they will reply you. When we send a request, then what are the request response will come in response. Again, if you want to like send and receive both the part, the backend developer will guide us while sending the data, send in this format. When you want to receive the data, you will receive in this format. Okay, that will be discussion with the front end and back end team. That will be a discussion call between the back end and front end person. We have made an application here that is our restaurants are doing now. This is one Medical Planet, one website is there. This website, Medical Planet. Okay, it's being developed.
This is built in React, right?
This is built in Coordinator, but their backend is built in the React. Backend in the sense where, like suppose when I go here, this data are coming. You can see this is coming here. When I go to maybe medicine orders, when I go here, you can see so many product will come in that page. These all data are coming. These all are coming from the vendor, admin, and different peoples are there. They will log in the project, and after login, if they are vendor, they want to sell the product, they will post the product. Those products are made using the React. Okay. And the API, whatever is written, APIs are written under the this one called as a coordinator framework again. I have API URL, I'll show you here. I have written this for the developers. We have team, they are working now for us. It is here, web API docs. You can see here. For this project, this is the APIs are here. You can see for admin, what are the functionalities are required. Admin, when I go to the brand API, in brand API, to save the brand, they have to post the data in this format. This is the React code. To fetch the data, list the brand, they have to call this in the React. To delete the brand, they have to post from the React in this format. Okay, to edit the brand, they have to call in this format. Then they'll get a brand details. They have to go to the, if they want to update the brand, they have to go like this, and again they have to update the brand. So these all are the React code. The React code from the application they have to implement, and then to this API are written for this project. But this project, what output you see as of now, it is coming under the React. Sorry, it is under the this one coordinator framework. But the data, whatever is coming here, this left side you can see this and all. This is filled by admin. That admin application is developed under the React. For vendor application developed under the React. And data is coming the front end. This application is developed using the coordinator. Still, it's today only these pages are ready. Still, people are working. Only one page are ready. Recently, they have started. Okay, so I will guide you how to write the API in both the side, how to use that. Come next. Let's go ahead. So this is the basic flow. Now we will go to the our uh, project. Project inside the project will create few components. We write lines and we see how we can link to the main file and how it will reflect under the browser. Okay, so file you are going to create directly few basic file we will create under the SRC folder. We can create a folder called basic, BASIC, basic. So under the basic folder, we can create some static pages, and those static pages will link with the app.js file, and we'll see how it is going to come under the browser.
Sir, when you are doing, we will simultaneously do, or we will understand first?
Which one? No, you have to write along with me. You have system now with you.
Yes, yes.
To follow me. If error will come, you need to let me know. Yes, error is coming. If working, then also you have to say yes, it's working. That is the pattern. Pattern is I will also write the code, you will also write the code. Right, check it. If error comes, you can let me know. Once, like we will understand some points, few topics once we cover. After that, whatever we cover under the class related to that, I'll give you some assignment daily. You will do that. We'll create a group of the batch. There you can keep posting your assignment. Yes, completed, not completed. Some error, no error. Okay. So come there.
Under SRC basic is means
Basic is a folder. We have created a folder. Create a folder called basic. Under the SRC, Under the SRC basic folder is created. Now under the basic folder, you will create a file. Under the basic folder, you will create a file. Give the file name called user.js. User.js. Create a file for user.js. Okay. Under the user.js, user.js becomes a file. Inside this file, we have to write a function. That function will hold the HTML and JavaScript both the codes. And that function will be called as a component. Let's come here. Write a function. We will write pattern function also after one or two examples. Function will give the name of the function called myUser. MyUser. In this MyUser, whatever we are going to write, it is going to print in some other component. Some other component can call this file. Some other component can call this function. So when some other component is going to call the function, you must have to make this function as a importable so that someone can import it. So to make as a importable, we have to use the keyword here called export. And since there is only one function, not one function or multiple function, React has made compulsory. Whenever you are making a function, default you have to apply everywhere. So export default and your function name called myUser. Right? After that, we'll come under this function and we will write here called return. When we write as a return, inside the return, you have to follow the rule of the JSX. Since every component will have definitely more than one element, so there should be one parent element that will be helpful and it will not give you error. You have to write it. There is no other option. You have to write it as a parent element because once multiple element comes, it must be within a component. We can write here user list. After that, we'll come down below. We'll write a paragraph. User is working. User is working. We can write one more paragraph. This is functional component. Write anything, no problem. After that, now after writing that, come to the app.js file. We will import this component. We'll come to the app.js file and we'll import this component. You can write here import. File function name was called my user. My user from basic slash user.js you can write, or you can write directly user also. In JavaScript file, if you are calling as a JavaScript, .js will be optional. In JavaScript, if you are calling a JavaScript, .js will be optional. Okay, we can come next again. This what we have written a square bracket yesterday. We can convert into a parent element as a division. Will be helpful. Or instead of division, you can use a section tag is also fine. Section tag open and section tag will be closed. Inside the section tag, you can call now that file. The file we have imported on the top, that function name is my user. So here in the JSX function, you are not going to call like this. See, let me write a comment here. We call the function in JavaScript this way. Like our function name is called my user. This way we can call in JavaScript. In JavaScript. Okay, in JSX, you need to call just like the independent tag my user in React JSX. This way we can call. In React JSX, we call like this. Okay. So now this is the app.js is the main file where app function is a function that is already dealing with the index.js. Now here only we can call the my user component, my user component we can call here directly. So written, you can come to the browser and check once it is coming or not. We can come to the browser and we can check once is it coming or not. Save the file, look at the browser here. My user component is imported here. If you go to the browser, write localhost 3000. Your welcome was working already. Other component is also working, user list. Check now, let me know if working, then we can go next.
It is showing error.
In which file? App.js file or that new component file?
In app.js file, my user is showing error.
My user is showing error. First to check the user.js file you have created. This is have done the return from here.
Yes.
My user, and then after that my user, inside that parent component, we have added some elements. Then at last we wrote export default my user. Now when we come to the app.js file, my file name was different little USCR, okay, it's correct only. So import my user from /basic of user. Check once your user.js is under the basic only or somewhere else. User.js, is it under the basic only or somewhere else?
Inside basic.
Inside basic. Send this code here in the chat. You are in the laptop now or mobile?
Laptop.
For other people, this work or error?
Working for me.
Working. Not working for Subhasis Patnaik.
Not working.
Working. Okay. For whom it was error? No error.
Should I share the screen or?
I will make you host. You can share a screen. I'll guide you. Okay, you can share the screen. User dot go to the app.js. You have the error. See app.js is where show me your folder structure. Is showing user is okay. Okay, fine. App.js has the problem. Section you have started. Import my user basic of user is okay. Then here you have written my user slash why you kept in the beginning. Line number 9 slash in the beginning. Remove the beginning slash. Before M there is slash. Remove that. Slash will come in the last like the independent tag. Yeah, save now, check in browser. No, not from here. Oh, you are starting the terminal. It was already running or not running?
Yes, obviously. I mean, today I had not run. Now only I wrote it npm start.
Let it start. It's printed.
Okay.
Only hi, why it's printed.
I had written here this.
Oh, remove. Keep there called app you need to keep there. Remove H2, keep there app. Yes. App and then slash should be there. No. It's independent tag. Remove.
Okay, got it.
Moving part you can remove. Second one.
Now,
App is not a function. You need to import there, no app. Import here, app, yeah. Not here. In the index.js file. After index.js, anywhere, import it. Import app from app.js. App is out of the basic. You can write directly /app. App, yes. Check in browser now. It should be okay.
got it.
Okay, so one component we created, it is coming. Let's create one, two more component. We'll have a practice properly. So user component we kept under the basic folder. Now we can go here under the basic only, create one more folder. 8 minutes. Hello. Hello. Here I'm here. Okay. Mhm. Mm. We can do, but it is a requirement for fresher or experience. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So, okay, fine. The JavaScript, fine. They can work on JavaScript. We can train them. That's not big deal. If they're the candidates, whoever we have, they have already a skill on the PLSQL part. No, they are into the JavaScript completely. Uh-huh. Okay, okay, okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No problem, we can. Mm-hmm. No problem. You can set up call also. Anytime you can call me. I will discuss. Yeah, it not. It's a total are 11 as of now. They are no, they are into the React complete front end. React, yeah, they are up to 2 year experience people. They are working on our project. We have a project from the clients, but we have more resources as of now. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no problem. So that 8, 10, 11 resources we have, that we have a plan of that hiring and deployment model, some kind of that. And that's what we are thinking. No problem, no problem. Please just set up a call anytime. We will be discussing about it. Okay. Noise, noise. Okay. Yeah, yeah, sure. That 11 resumes, right? Okay. Tomorrow morning, probably 9:30. Okay. Uh, okay. Okay. Deep math, Lakshmi. Okay, so let's create one more component. In the market, there is a huge opening. HRs are moving like anything. They are searching like anything manpower. Okay, matter is of knowledge. So let's come to the next call. Next component to create call product dot js product dot js. In product dot js, we can write again a function, but that will not write direct function. Will follow a fat arrow function. Const my product equal to, use the fat arrow function of JavaScript, come inside, export default, export default my product. Now let's come inside, return come inside the division, keep here a h1 all product list. Now under the product list, just again write a paragraph. This is functional component. Okay, ready? After that, come to the again app.js file, import this file, import this component, and we'll check there is it working or not. So hope you wrote it. Come to the main file again. Import this file under the app.js. Import my product. Right. Next, come down below. You can add here call my product. Check now in the browser, is it printed? User product. Let me know if any error. It's a simple, just you created the component and call directly. So we'll go here in the browser. So yeah, no error or error.
Can you open a product.js once?
Open product.js.
For me, while importing, that import tag itself is coming in disabled kind of. It's not loading.
Which one product
Yeah,
you have made this
not
one?
app.js while importing, right?
This export you have written here.
Yes, yes, I've already written.
Then look here. Why error will come? Should not be disabled. If you use here, disable should not be there.
Okay, okay, okay. That's what I missed. Yeah, got it.
If you use below, then on the top it will become enable.
Yes, yes, that I missed. Yes, working now.
Working. Okay. Well then, let's go ahead. Then now what we did it, we created three component, two component, both the component we called here. Okay. Now come to the user component. The user component. Suppose inside the user component, assume we have some variable, we have some data. So those data and variable, how to those data and variable, how to print in the browser. Means how to bind the data. If data is available under the variable or array, how to bind the data. Let me go here and create a variable, simple variable. Let full name equal to Ganesh. We created a variable for full name. Now full name variable, how to print in the browser. Right. So in React, it is simple. In JavaScript, you have to write document.getElement by ID, such a long code. React says like since it's a JSX, HTML and JavaScript you can mix together. So you don't have to worry on much that scripting part. Inside the JavaScript function, the component you have written here, inside the function, easily you can write the inside the function, easily you can write the HTML as you have written here. Now under HTML, wherever you want to write the JavaScript code under the function within the HTML, wherever you want to write the JavaScript function, simple you can open the curly bracket and close the curly bracket. Curly bracket is open is nothing but your JavaScript start. Curly bracket is end is nothing but your JavaScript end. Now between this start to end, whatever the JavaScript code you want, you can write here. Okay. Let me go here, use a p tag. Inside the p tag, I will follow this one. I'll write here name is that full name variable full. Correct. It will come in your browser. So you can say printing the any kind of variable under the React is too simple. Within the flower bracket, within the curly bracket, you can keep it and successfully it will come in the browser. Okay, successfully it will come in the browser. Now go here and check in the browser full name is printing or not. Is printing here Ganesh Kumar. Right, you can see it's printing here Ganesh Kumar. Now same way, if one user have you kept in the full name you printed. If you have 10-20 users, how to print that? So for that we have to follow the concept of array here. So let me create a variable. Let me create a variable called user list equal to a square bracket. Inside that we can keep multiple user. Right, suppose some names I kept here. Okay, now let us come here and print the length of users. Total user list is how many? How many users are available? So simply here we can open the curly bracket and we can print here user list dot length. User list dot length. Okay, save now. Let's look in the browser. Length is saying user list. How many users? 6. Now these 6 users we have. How to print all the users? So for that, definitely you have to use here any kind of listing function. You have to use any kind of looping function. Correct. So we are going to use a function here called map. It's called a list function in JavaScript. Now how the map works? Suppose I will write here a flower bracket open and close. Right, flower bracket open and close. So inside that you can see is consider JavaScript is open, JavaScript is closed. Now inside the open and close of the JavaScript, we can write here array.map user list dot map. Right, inside the map function, it will return the 2 parameters. Your element like full name of the user. Second one will be called index of the user. So at this place, the user list function is going to work in not user list function. The map function is going to call the number of time elements you have inside the array. The map function is going to call the number of items you have inside the array. Just write it. I'll come back in 1 minute. Okay, hope I read. Now let's come. So what is happening here? The map function says like I required an array to get the content from there. I required an array to get the content from there. So we have a function called map. Now map function will apply on user list. Map function will call the number of times you have the number of element inside your array. Inside the array you have 6 times. Map function will call itself 6 times. Each time what it will do, it will look into your array and it will take your element. And that element it will split into two parts. The element it will split into two parts. One is the name of the element, like you can say first call element and second is called position. Let me write here called element, 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 and another one is called index. Element and index. Okay, element and index. Element and index. Now what we will do is we will do here element is nothing but suppose when the loop will start, the first element is called Mantu. Mantu will go to the element and position of Mantu will go to the index. Second loop, the Raju will go to the element and their position will go to the index. The third loop, Gopi will go to the element and their position will go to the index. The fourth loop, Mahesh will go to the element and their position will go to the index. This way it will continue till last. And finally again, this map function has to return something. So you will write here called return, and again inside the return, easily you can write the HTML code, and here you can print the element, ELEMENT. So return, I will pull in the new line that it will be something like this. Okay. Element, right? Next, after that, let's print here. Check now whether it's a printing all the names or not. Is it printing all the names or not?
Yes, printing.
It will print all the elements. We'll go here. Here, all the elements are printed here. All the
For me, it is not showing.
save your code, you will have some problem. Save the file, write the return.
Yes, means the number of people is also not showing for me.
You have saved your file.
I have activated autosave in VS Code.
What you have activated?
Autosave.
Refresh your page once manually. Go to the browser, reload the page manually.
Now it is coming. Sometimes we have to refresh, maybe.
Now look at here, index also will print 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the value will also come here. Hello. Hello. Come again? No, sir. It's Info Campus. Info Campus. Number belong to Info Campus. Okay. Yeah, it is available. Wait for 5 minutes. I'll call you back. What's your name? Okay, we'll call you in 5 minutes. Okay, hold on. Now after that, check now. So it will give you the list of all. Okay. So how that is working again? This data came from the array. After that, array given to the map function. Map function again, what is doing? Is rendering. Map function is calling itself. When the map function is calling itself, inside that return, it is returning the paragraph. And what inside flower bracket, and then you are writing the variable and all, it is called the actual JSX, where JavaScript and HTML code you can mix together. Okay. When you want to write the JavaScript code, you can open the flower bracket, close it right inside easily. When you want to write HTML anywhere, you can open HTML inside the C. This is the return. Inside the return, we open the HTML and close the HTML. Inside HTML, again we wrote flower bracket. Okay. So this is small, like in the React, what you will have to do is like HTML will be not separate somewhere and JavaScript will not be separate. Yes, definitely function will be separate, API call will be separate, state management will be separate, but the function itself will have a return where everything will come back together. Okay. And suppose in this, like we modify any value under the array. So once you modify the value under the array, anything, whenever you do any changes, since your live server is running, he was facing the problem not unable to load. Sometimes load will happen, sometimes not loading, then we can reload it manually also. It is not like we will wait only for the system purpose. System will reload, then okay, in case system is not reloading, we can load manually from outside. Okay, right. After that, you can see you tomorrow then. Maybe 1-2% was not joined. That is the only problem. Regularity is the big matter. Someone will log in between. They will feel like not able to understand. Okay, again, someone will log in after some days. They will feel like it's a difficult. Sequence is big matter.
Sir, in syllabus, all the hooks will be covered, or only 2-3 important hooks?
In hooks, I will teach you use state, use effect, use params, use ref. huge selector, huge dispatch. Plus, we will teach you everything of Redux. We'll teach you everything of API, home validation, class component, functional component, all will cover. At least all meaningful hooks function I will guide you. Those you are going to implement in the project. Okay. Your Redux is a hooks only, no? Redux is the hooks itself. In Redux, we will be learning many things. Okay, then we'll end the session. See you tomorrow.